Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to the It Takes a Village podcast. I'm Ashley, your host. This is where the struggles are real, the callings are heavy, the kids are sticky. We come together because it takes a village, and this is your tribe. Hey guys, what's up? I wanted to hop in here and shout out to you. I don't know if you've known this, but I have been working full time along with podcasting, blogging, doing my own thing with It Takes a Village, and I also podcast manage for another amazing woman who has her own podcast, the She with Shannon podcast. And so I'm putting out all my stuff, her stuff, and then working full time at my children's school. And so I wanted to share with you guys 6 ways that moms can survive the school year, because this is how I am surviving, how I am managing all this crazy and doing the things that I love and taking care of my kids and being there for my husband and taking care of myself, most importantly. And so I'm going to share with you guys today 6 ways that you can survive as well as we possibly can, right? So let's get to it. So, step 1 is know where your closest wine supplier is. Just straight up, you need to know where's your closest wine supplier, because that's key and crucial to your survival. Step 2 is have your kids Uber to school, because we're busy moms. So, we need our minivan to drive us to work. We need to tail it and be on time for once. The kids can Uber to school. They'll be all right, right? The driver will make sure that they get there okay. Step 3, now listen to this closely, because this is very important to the last part of surviving the school year, and that is to put your feet up and cover the toddler in peanut butter. And if you don't have a dog, you're probably going to need to get a dog for this, but if you have a dog, cover your toddler in peanut butter, or your child. I'm sure it'll work out. They might not know what you're doing, but just tell them to roll with the flow, and then their dog will take care of the rest and have your littlest occupied for hours. I'm totally joking, but that was the first 3 things that came to my mind when I thought about what I could say to you guys and share what I was doing. I don't know why, my mind just goes there immediately. And also, I want to make a note that if you guys have noticed a change in like the microphone occasionally where it sounds like it does today, it is because I am recording while I'm at work on my break. And so my microphone here is not as good as the microphone that I have that I'm able to use at home. So just work with me. This is mom life. We're going to roll with it. It's crazy. Okay, so seriously though, some actual real tips to survive the school year is meal prep like a mother, okay? I'm for real, because this was something that I didn't do. I used to work a couple years ago, and I went insane, like trying to get home. I worked from 6, like in the morning until 6, and then I would try to go home and like do dinner and do all the things. And I didn't have dinner ready ahead of time, which is major like rookie mistake, right? Like most of you know by now, like you can't, like you guys are already like, oh no, girl, you shouldn't do that. But I had to learn the hard way. And so now I make sure that I meal prep. And I'm not only just going to tell you that, but I really want to share with you guys a really, really good resource that I use completely free. She does have some paid programs where you can get like more, but I've been able to survive solely off of her blog posts that are completely free, and I've made a ton of freezer meals, and that is how I'm like, that is it. Cat's out of the bag, right? Freezer meals is how you're going to survive. And the place that I'm talking about is called thefamilyfreezer.com. Shout out to Kelly. Hey, girl. If she isn't a listener, you guys need to tag her, Kelly McNellis. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. But at thefamilyfreezer.com, and then go there, and all her blog posts, like, it is amazing, the recipes that she is sharing. It's super simple. Like, you guys, like, just throw it in a bag. I'm talking like 5 ingredients, ones that you've heard of before. Throw them in a bag, put them in the freezer. And then literally hers I think are mostly for the crock pot, but I've been doing them in the Instant Pot, which hallelujah, amen, praise the Lord for that. And it is amazing. So that is how I'm surviving on food. The second way is to game plan with your spouse. You guys, this is another thing. Communication, because we are all going every which way. Like, my husband has a job, I have a job, several jobs. My kids have things. We all have activities. We have places to be, appointments. We want to hang out with people, adults. We want to do things. And we cannot make that happen without being on the same page, or otherwise we're going to get PO'd at each other because we've scheduled something at the same time and we need one person to go here or the kids to go there, and it's just not happening, right? So I think I've said this on here before, and you guys have heard other women say this before, but create a calendar where you both can see each other's day to day schedules. So, my husband has so many things on his schedule that I just let him use the iPhone calendar, like the calendar that comes on the iPhone. He uses that, and then he can, in the settings, make it to where I can see it because we're on the same phone plan, right? So, he can share it with me. I can see all of his things. We used to have them to where I put my stuff in there too, but his stuff and my stuff on one calendar was crazy chaos. So he does his on the iPhone calendar. I do mine in a Google Calendar, which has the app on your phone. And that is what I use. So that way it's separate and I have it color coded. Everybody has a certain, color. And so I know who goes where and what and who it's for and all that. And he can see that as well. Okay, but that's just schedule talk though, right? So it's also super helpful if you can figure out who's waking up when, what needs to be done in the morning, and who is going to do what. So for instance, in our home, I usually wake up first and get myself dressed and start on the process on, the mess that is my hair and then the covering of my face, right? So that's the first thing I do. That's my priorities. Take the dogs out, get myself ready, start that process. Then my husband wakes up and the kids wake up sometime either in between him and I waking up or when he wakes up, and I'm already working on breakfast at that time. So while everyone is doing their bathroom things and just waking up, once the kid, like they're all doing their things, I'm fixing breakfast. And then once the kids finish eating, my husband manages the kiddos. So he is making sure that I'm doing whatever last things that I have to do. I can run around and not worry about the kids getting ready. I don't have to be on them. And so he manages the kids to make sure that they get their things together, that they're getting ready, that they're getting their snacks, that we're not trying to walk out the door and somebody's like, oh, but I wanted a snack. He's handling all that mess. And what I mean is that like my 8-year-old, she can pretty much do it herself because she knows, and I've talked to her about the expectations of the morning. Like, you have to get this done. These are the things. And then she's also learned from consequences. Like, hey, if you're not ready, we're going to leave the house like that. So, he's basically managing our 5-year-old, and then I'm finishing up lunches, filling up water bottles, and all that stuff, and then we're out the door. If your husband, like your situation may not work that way in the morning because your husband may leave earlier than you or something like that, so you have to sit down and think like, okay, what are the things that need to get done in the morning to get me out of the house on time without losing my mind, without yelling at the kids because it's my fault. If I wake up early, no, scratch that. If I wake up late, I do not try to take it out on the kids. And if it does happen, like if I know I'm in a mood because I'm running around and my tolerance or my patience is low, usually in the car I say, "Hey guys, like we're running late. Totally on me today. It's totally on me today." I always say totally on me today on the way to school because if it's on me, I want them to know like, "Hey, I'm being a monster because this is totally my fault. I'm frustrated because it's my fault. It has nothing to do with them." But you need to have those conversations so that way your family can get out of the door in the morning without you losing your mind and in a successful way, right? And so you have to figure out whatever works for you and your husband. You have to figure out, hey, like the night before, can you do this? Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. We need to ask for help. So that is my tip number 2. Number 3, kind of right like pulls into this, is manage your time well. I try and most of the time fail and not telling my kids to hurry up. I hate that, because I know it takes more words for me to say, mommy didn't manage her time well, and so now we're running late. It's my fault, like I said, but it totally makes a difference in how they perceive the situation, and it gives them an opportunity to learn from the situation. And I'm exempling responsibility for the situation instead of exempling how I can take my frustration out on somebody else when it's my fault, right? Because that's exact same thing that we get on to them about is like, don't blame your brother for that. That was like like don't blame your brother for being late to the soccer game when you couldn't find your da 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 da. So I want to example that, and I need to hold myself accountable to that because I'm in that mindset of like I need to grow. Like I'm constantly growing and trying to become a better person because I'm raising tiny people and I don't want them to be crazy adults, right? Like I want them to be functioning humans of society that are well and nice and all these things. And so that is kind of how I think of that. And then there are going to be days when we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We wake up late or our kids wake up on the wrong side of the bed. But if possible, set you and your family up for success by giving everyone the time they need to be in the places you're going to get. So, like my daughter, she wants to be able to have time to do her hair chalk in the morning. And so I tell her, I'm like, hey, you will not have that time if I don't wake you up. And she hates when I wake her up. She wants to wake up on her own. And I tell her all the time, like, hey, like if you don't have time to do it, you don't have time to do it because you wanted to sleep in. And so she's learned before when we've walked out the door and her hair's not done or this isn't done. And I'm like, you have to plan that time. Like you are 8, you need to plan this time. And so I help her do that because we talk about what she wants to achieve. And so we talk about what time she needs to wake up to do that. And then my 5-year-old, you just know, like, I know it takes him time to wake up in the morning. If I rush him, if he is rushed, he's cranky and it's awful for the rest of the day. So I know, like, hey, I got this window. He's got to be up to do all the things. Um, and for my type A friends out there, I'm preaching to you right now, but forget about making that bed if you're already 10 minutes late. I know for me that was something that was hard to let go of. Things like that, like I hate dirty dishes in the sink when I come home. I hate the bed being undone when I come home. It's hard, but just put the duvet down and walk away because you getting to somewhere on time is going to be better. Or, like not trying to cram all the things in, just let it go. It's nobody can see it. If they can, they're going to relate. Like preach, like I have a fist in the air right now to all the mamas who left their beds unmade this morning because they were just trying to get to the places that they needed to go on time without losing their mind. Okay, so step number 4 is to cut yourself some slack. And I say this all the time because I know if you're like myself, I can hear it 1,000 times that I need to go easy on myself, and I don't listen. We don't listen. We don't care. And we try to push ourselves as far as we can go, but take it easy, woman. There are going to be things you don't get done, things you didn't get to do, and dinners that will be gotten in the drive through. Is that a word? Gotten? Either way, you're getting them in the drive through. My husband and my kids will both tell you that they would much rather the house be a mess than me be a monster trying to get it all done. You guys know this to be true. We're the worst when we push ourselves way too far and we know it and we can feel it coming. So listen to that voice that says, slow down, just hit up the Chick-fil-A on the way home and do it. Step number 5 is use your break time for errands and things that you need to get done, things that would take up your time in the evening. So like myself, I have podcasts to do, I have stuff to do for It Takes a Village. And so during my lunch break at my full-time job, I am doing these episodes. I'm doing all the social media things, handling emails, whatever. And it'll look different for you. Maybe you can't go to the grocery store. Sometimes I've been able to do that if I make a list. You just have to prioritize and plan ahead so that way when the time comes, like I will pack a sandwich so I can eat it in my car while I go somewhere because I know I have like an hour to get there, to get back and get done, So think of things that you can do on your break time that will make your life easier instead of getting stuck on that black hole of social media. Like we'll get on Facebook as soon as we get on break, and then before we know it, break time's up and we didn't get anything done. So make your grocery list. This is a perfect time to go to familyfreezer.com and to look at those recipes and plan out and print out and save and pin and all those things and get your grocery list set up. Like even if you can't have enough time to go to the grocery store, make your grocery list, things like that. And number 6, last but not least, this is the hardest one for me because I love my time with my husband. I love to just binge on Netflix shows. I like to just sit there and scroll. Like this is my freedom to indulge time. And so that means I am eating the snacks, I'm watching the shows, and I'm scrolling and I'm brain dead basically. And so it's hard for me to go to bed at a decent hour, but that is what I'm going to tell you because if you love to stay up after your kids go to bed and to unwind, you can watch a show. But the truth is the best way to survive the school year is to make sure that Mama Bear doesn't become Mama Hulk. And that means that Mama Bear needs to get some sleep. You know what I'm saying? So you need to take care of yourself first because a sleep deprived mama is how an emotional breakdown is made for real, you guys. So those are my tips. I hope that they're helpful. I hope that maybe if they didn't help you, maybe they made you laugh a little bit. But for real, I think that these are what are really helping me to survive, especially that freezer meal website. It was so helpful. So shout out to Kelly again, and make sure you go and check out their website. You guys, P.S., they did not ask me to say that. I found them on my own, Google searching, trying to prepare for going back to work, and I came upon it, and I've been telling everybody because it's saved my life. So I hope I can catch you guys next time. Make sure you review and rate this podcast, and I'll catch you later.